Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about Adam and Eve, the first man and woman. So we're going to go into the origins of humanity as well as the origins of sin's relationship with humanity. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, creation. So God took together some dust, breathed life into it, and thus Adam was born. And Adam's chilling in Eden, pretty nice place, trees with food, all kinds of stuff. And there's only one rule that Adam has, is to not eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And his only job is to tend to the garden, which is a pretty easy job at that point. And so God looks at him and says, you know what, it's not good that man is alone. Sets out to find a suitable helper for him. Brings up all the animals, Adam names all the animals, a suitable helper is not found. So God decides to create a helper for him. God lays Adam to sleep, takes out a rib, and thus Eve is made. And so now we have man and woman, the first man and woman, the first husband and wife. And they're both chilling in Eden naked. So the fall. So Eve's been chilling in Eden, and a serpent comes up to her and is like, hey, has God really told you not to eat of all the fruit of the garden? And you've been tending to this garden, but has he really told you can't eat of it? And so Eve responds to him and says, no. God said I can eat of all the fruit, I just can't eat of this one tree. And if I do eat of the tree, I'm gonna die. And so the serpent says, surely, you won't die. God's just telling you that because he's scared that you're gonna become equal with him. He's just making it up. And so Eve's like, you know what? You might be right about that. I'm gonna become like God. Took a fruit, took a bite, gave some to Adam, had him take a bite, and all of a sudden their eyes were opened. They saw that they were naked, made clothes, and hid as God came showing by. So God sees them trying to hide, and he's like, hey, what are you guys doing? Why are you hiding? And Adam's like, well, it was the woman's fault. It wasn't my fault. It was all her fault. We ate the fruit, but it's her fault. So he's like, no, it's not my fault. It's the serpent's fault. Definitely not my fault. It's all him. He convinced me, all that kind of stuff. And so God's like, okay. Looks at the serpent and says, you are going to be cursed above all of the other land animals on earth. And you're going to crawl on your belly, you're going to eat dust. There's going to be enmity between your seed and the woman's seed, all that kind of stuff. And God then looks to Eve and says, okay, you're going to have horrible pain during childbirth, and your husband's going to rule over you. Because you see, Eve took the fruit because she thought she was going to be equal with God. But now she just got demoted below Adam. And so God then looks to Adam and is like, okay, the land itself is cursed because of you. That you're gonna try to grow stuff, not all of it's gonna actually produce food. The thorns and thistles are gonna come up. You're gonna eat bread by the sweat of your brow. It's gonna be hard, back-breaking labor. And most of us who have a garden in our backyard know that it definitely is back-breaking labor just to try to get something to grow back there. None less worrying about whether we're actually gonna harvest or not. I mean, last year we were trying to grow corn in our backyard and our dog ate the corn. And that's not the only thing that's happened. We've had squirrels take seeds, we've had all kinds of stuff, but it's hard, back-breaking labor. And all of this was the result of the fall of man. And so now let's skip ahead to the New Testament, because in Romans, Paul talks about Adam, and he says that through Adam came sin, and that through sin came death, and that death has spread to all men because Adam sinned. Because all have sinned, now death is in all men. Now we die because of the fall, because we have become sinful. But Paul doesn't leave it at that. That isn't the end of the story. But Paul brings up Jesus, because Jesus is the new and the better Adam. That through Adam's fall, we received sin and death. But through Christ's crucifixion, we receive justification and life. That through Adam's disobedience, we became sinners. But through Christ's obedience, we have become righteous. So Adam and Eve were the first of humanity, and they were enjoying a pretty good life in Eden. They were having no pain, no suffering, only knew good, but that all came to an abrupt end. In the episode of failure, that was the fall of mankind, that sin entered the world through that episode, and then death through sin. And now everyone is sinful, and so everyone dies. That's why it's so hard for us to comprehend sin, because we were meant to live forever. We weren't meant to die. And now we can have that life through Christ, because through Christ, we are justified. We are declared not guilty. We have eternal life. And it's only through Christ that we can live. As always, I'd like to thank the team behind all of this. This wouldn't be half of what it is without them. Also, don't forget to leave some feedback so I know what you're thinking, whether that's a like or comment or what have you. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so that you'll be the first to know when a video comes out. And as always, stay safe, friends, and may the Lord be with you.